What up guys, One Fit Bruja here, and today I am back with a story time. Those of you that have been following me for a while since the beginning, which was roughly 2-3 years ago is when I think I made my YouTube channel, I posted a story time that was called A Horror Story Within a Horror Story. I actually took that video down because I, at the time, was talking about a certain situation that could have reflected poorly upon the person that I was with and any family members that were related to him. I'm moving on in life, and I do not feel bad for posting this story time no longer, because I took it down due to respect, obviously. That time, they were family, but they are no longer my family anymore, so I do not feel bad about withholding that I could possibly share within this story time, because it is vital information. It goes hand in hand with this mind state and emotions that I was feeling at the time. It had to do with these people. I'm not gonna say it was everything to do with them, because I'm actually predisposed to be in tune with energy and certain spirits, but at that time I just was not very aware of that. With that said, I'm going to repost and retell you a horror story within a horror story. It's supposed to be the holidays, but if you're like me, I would like paranormal activity stories, scary movies, all that shit, all time, all year round. I don't care what season it is, what holiday is being celebrated. I don't celebrate Christmas, and neither does my partner. I do appreciate the solstice and the changing of the seasons, so I might do something like that and share it with you guys. It depends. But as of right now, the only holidays that we really celebrate are Dia de los Muertos and Samhain, Halloween. They all fall like on the same days pretty much. So I am redoing a horror story within a horror story. Okay, so before I dive into this like a whole lot, I'm going to give a trigger warning for anybody who has any sort of eating disordered problems, who suffers from anorexia, anything along those lines. Eating disordered habits and eating disordered lifestyle is going to be shared with you. This was that point in time of my life that I was going through. So just be aware. If you view that this is going to be a problem for you, then I would get out of the video. So I'm going to leave a disclaimer in the description box below for those of you who even bother to read that. You know who you are. You know who you are if you don't read. Okay? It's pretty obvious. I'm going to move on to the story. I'm trying to figure out where the hell I'm going to start, because I don't want the video to be eons long, but it probably will be. If I can keep this under 30 minutes, that would be ideal, but you may not get all the details either, those of you who are interested in diving deep into my weird, obscure, messed up life. Fucking weird if you want to hear about that. So those of you who want to know me, those of you who want to know me, and those of you who know me, know that my life has been pretty chaotic ever since I was a child, but I don't need to go extremely that far back. But the gist of the eating disordered habits have started when I was little, due to my parents and the way that they viewed food and how much I should eat, etc., etc. A lot of us have had that problem with our parents, because our parents are raised differently. So they view that women should eat only, this much, like a little handful. Viewed as men, you can double that amount, double those, handful amounts, which is technically true, depending on how much you want to weigh or you're comfortable with that weight on your frame. But to each their own. I don't care how much you weigh. I care about what's in here and in here. Also, at the end of the day, if you are comfortable, that's all that matters, really. Your health, if you're comfortable. I care about if you have a personality and a good soul. That's gonna be the top one, is a good soul, and I want you to be healthy if I adore you. Got the rosé. Free bottle of rosé from my work. You can dig it. I can dig it. I like it. It's got a tang to it. Ice cubes in it. I was like, I might need this to keep ranting on for a while, so. Salud, guys. Salud. Okay, so my parents basically distilled this sort of eating disordered habits in my head at a very young age. I was kind of a chubby kid growing up, which honestly, if you watch some of my old videos, I was overweight. I was pushing 200 pounds. Luckily, I am not pushing 200 pounds anymore. We're gonna go back, way back, to parent problem. So my dad is old school Latino. In my culture, women are supposed to look beautiful, flawless, be the best housewife ever. You're supposed to look did up all the time, look good all the time, morning till night, and be able to do all this housework in it and shit. It's just not completely practical, but bitches do it because that was the image that was portrayed for them. Like that was something you had to live up to, or else you're not making your culture look good or your race look good. It was a mind fuck from the get-go. From that side of his family, women are only supposed to look good. They're supposed to be skinny, beautiful, have big boobs, or nice butts, a nice hourglass shape to them, and a bunch of makeup, and get your nails did and look nice, wear dresses and skirts and shit, look nice. And on my mom's side, more of an old school Italian approach. Same thing with the housewife dealio. They want you to be skinny and pretty, know how to make good food, cater. Two mentalities together are really brainwashing, but at the same time, they wanted to like break the mold, and they were telling me to be independent and make a lot of money. You don't need nobody, don't get married, don't have kids. For the most part, they were right about that stuff. I don't have kids, and I'm very happy I didn't have kids, or else I would have some problems right now with the whole divorce scenario. So I'm very happy I didn't do that. I did get married to the wrong person. We just weren't compatible in the long run. It is what it is. That wasn't the worst thing to happen. I used to eat a lot of food when I was a kid. I loved food. I don't know how kids are picky eaters nowadays and they refuse to eat certain foods. If I refused to eat certain foods, my fucking parents would beat the hell out of me. Specifically my mom. My dad was too afraid to discipline me for some reason. He didn't want to be the bad guy. So my mom she was the bad guy. She had the balls to be the bad guy and discipline me. So my mama would beat the hell out of me if I didn't eat my food, brush my teeth, want to take a fucking shower, change my fucking underwear. Whatever the fuck kids do when they're little and they want to rebel and not do what the parents tell them to do. So that shit happened. That's pretty normal for me, but the way they discipline kids now is they're never gonna learn anything from the shit that they did. They're never gonna learn their fucking lesson because you're going too easy on them. You don't have to beat the hell out of them to distill that lesson in them. But what we're doing now is not working. This generation is soft as fuck. They get whatever they want. They're spoiled. I don't like that. I can't do that. I can't. My mom and dad would pick on me a lot when I was eating because I would like to eat a lot of food. I didn't have video games. We rarely had TV that had cable or satellite dish or anything like that. I didn't have no internet. I didn't have a phone until I was like 14 years old, when everyone else had their own BlackBerry or whatever the fuck was going on back then. Didn't have any toys. So the main thing that I would do was eat. I'm like, what the fuck else am I gonna do? We don't have anything. So, and I was so introverted that I never really cared to like hang out with anybody or anything like that. So I'm like, didn't have any fucking friends either. Not until later on, but I was around like 7, 8 when I started getting pretty chunky. And then after that, I went to foster care and lost it all. Change of environment, and I actually wasn't getting fed as much. We were on a strict eating schedule, so I ended up losing all that weight. And then when I came back, I appreciated food that much more that I just ate whatever was in front of me and then some. Because I was so afraid that I wasn't gonna eat because of foster care that I was like, whatever I get, I need to eat all now, because it could go away and then I'll be starving, which happened at foster care. I was almost there for a year. And by the time I got out, I looked like a fucking skeleton because this lady was starving us, basically. We ate one meal a day and it was the same thing every fucking day. So if you didn't eat it, you're starving. And if you want to bitch about it, then you get locked down in the basement areas where we all slept. We slept all in the basement, all 8 of us in the fucking basement. So yeah, good times. That's a different video. I got a lot of fucking stories about that if you guys would love to hear about foster care. I remember that shit. I remember that because that correlates with trauma. It's pretty funny how all these negative things get stored in your head so easily compared to like happy experiences. It's fucking sad. It is what it is. That triggered a lot of eating problems with food. I gained a lot of weight and I was already basically overweight by the time I was 11 years old. It wasn't the worst, wasn't the best either. I was a little bit chubby by the time I went into elementary school, and then after that it evened out and I was a normal weight. I wasn't overweight, I wasn't underweight, I was like right in the middle, which right now would be great. But yeah, good times. I mean, I still loved food because it took me a while to actually make friends in school, so I would still eat. I'd have problems with food. My parents would still get on my back about saying you're eating too much, you're getting too fat. My dad's telling me, you know, no one's gonna be attracted to any girl who's eating too much or, you know, looking like a pig when she's eating. And, you know, they don't want you to be fat, they want you to have curves, but you can't be fat. And I'm like, holy shit. Just get off my back and let me fucking eat. I don't got anything else. Shit. Feel bad for like putting anything in your mouth that your parents were like, here, try this or have a thing. If they said you couldn't have it at that time, then that's when they made you feel guilty for it. And when you have to ask for it and they're like, didn't you already eat dinner? You should be fine. But when they want it, oh, it's okay because they're the adult. If they want to eat 3 cookies real fast and chug some milk, it's fine. It's not fine when you do it. So later on, I think I was about 16 is when I met my ex-husband. I was actually homeless for 2 years. That's another story. I got a lot of stories. I don't know if they're considered horror stories, but I got life stories. I got life stories of shit that I've done, shit that I've went through, stupid shit that I probably shouldn't have done, but I didn't get caught for doing, all sorts of growing experiences. I met him at that time. I was homeless. My dad is an alcoholic. I'm pretty sure he still is. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a very long time. I don't talk to my mother anymore either, so I separated myself from my family completely because they were toxic. And I do not believe just because they're blood that you have to keep that toxic blood in your life. I don't believe in that. I believe my best friend is more of a family member than my parents could ever be. Create your own family. You can leave that toxic one behind. It's not the end of the world. You're not going to get shunned for it. According to your beliefs, you could, but I don't believe in that. I believe you make the life you want to live. So surround yourself by people that are only going to bring you up, not bring you down, of course, given that they are human and they're going to have bad days and certain times where they're going to go through depressions just like you. So get your head out of your ass and try to be understanding with those situations. For the majority of time, if they're a good person, they love and support you, then keep them. That's rare. So that's just my 2 cents. Where am I going with this, guys? I'm trying to just think about all the things that would trigger an eating disordered state, you know, mind state, and just like group them in just so you guys get like a strong gist of like where this all started, how long it's been brought with me in order to manifest into the whole main point. I met my ex-husband when I was 16, homeless, like I was saying. So I was couch surfing, staying with friends, making friends that I didn't really know well, and staying with them. And, you know, the situations were very sketchy. I don't recommend them. He told me, hey, it's fine, you can come stay with me. My parents will be fine with it. They were for a short amount of time, but only staying for 2 weeks. I ended up living with them for 5 years. His mom always loved to quote, 5 years. It's been 5 years. She hated my guts. Most likely, she still does, probably even more so now. But it is what it is. That's in the past. But at this time, when I was living with them, I was 16. I didn't have anywhere to go. I was working on getting my GED because I wasn't in school. I dropped out of school a while ago. Shit fucking sucked. I was trying to do a 360. When I was younger, I used to drink a lot. I used to drink more alcohol than I did food. And then when I met my ex-husband at the time, I started to eat more food. And then I'm trying to drink at the same time because typically I find that guys tend to want to eat a lot more than we do. So then they're always wondering why, hey, you're not eating or anything. Why am I the only one who's eating? And then you feel like you have to eat when they eat. And the pressure of the influence and pressure is just like really hardcore sometimes. And I'm like, I don't want to eat. If you want to eat, go eat. I don't feel like eating right now. I ended up just eating more often than not. And then when I gained weight, when you gain weight, you tend to be hungry because the fat's screaming at you like, feed me. I ended up living there for way longer than what I wanted to. There was arguments about me staying there too long. And at this time, I was trying to stop drinking and learn how to live a healthy lifestyle. So I started working out. I started doing body weight workouts and with some bodybuilding, and I was running. So I was doing a lot. And I would do this 6 days a week without fail. 6 days a week, I would do it. Birthday, rain, snow, and I paired it with a good diet. But I felt like my body plateaued at a certain range by the time I was 17, and I wasn't too happy with it. We tried moving to a different state with my ex-husband's friends, stayed there not very long at all, and then we moved back to his parents' place. Oh my god, that was like the worst shit ever. When you have to come back after you thought you were gone and you gotta come back, that's like one of the worst mind fucks. His mom's happy to see us return, says she didn't mean the shit she says to me. His mom would put me down a lot. She would say, I'm using them. I need to get the fuck out. I don't care where you go. You could die in the woods. I just don't want you fucking here. You don't deserve to be here. My son can do better than you. You're dirty. You know, shit like that. She would say, I remember a lot of these things because she would say them a lot when she got fucked up. She would start arguments with me when I'm just trying to get some fucking water and then retreat to the room. I basically lived in the bedroom, guys. Anything that I did, I got water, I got food, went to the bedroom. If I have to, like, God forbid I gotta pee or take a shit in the middle of the night, I have to sneak across the fucking hallway, bathroom's here, and the bedroom's right here, and I have to, like, stealthily go across the fucking hallway, use the bathroom as silently as possible, like I don't fucking exist, and somehow wash my hands as silently as possible, like I don't exist. And then, holy shit, if the toilet makes a sound flushing, it's all over. The attack's on. She's awake. The fuck you doing waking us up in the middle of the night? Can't you be quiet doing anything? Blah, blah, blah. I can hear you washing your hands. I'm like, you should be happy I even washed my hands. Fuck. A lot of people don't. I'm like, your son doesn't fucking do that. He just clanks around loud as fuck, doesn't wash his hands, goes back to the bedroom. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, it was rough. She hated my guts. She hated everything about me. Even though I changed the way I was, my ex-husband stayed the same at the time. He didn't care about that shit at the time. So I was the one trying to get my GED. I was the one practicing a healthy lifestyle. I was trying to change. I was doing better than him at the time, if I say so myself. Nobody cared. I guess that made it worse because she was probably mad that her son didn't give a shit. So there was also that. Later on, he changed. He eventually got his shit together, but I would say it was too late. We should have tried harder to get out of that situation in the first place, but that's just me, you know. A lot of mental breakdown was happening verbally because apparently girls love to attack you verbally and they're very passive aggressive, and that's just bullshit. And I don't know why girls do this shit to each other. It's fucking dumb. But that's how it went for the 5 years that I fucking lived there. And there's only so much that you can take. And I never said anything back. I would always just be quiet and let her just yell these words at me, call me a bitch and all that shit. And I would ignore it, go to the room, put the chair in front of the door if she would try to come into the room. And I know it's disrespectful. I wanted to leave really bad, but he kept telling me, don't leave, it's fine. She doesn't mean any of this stuff, she's just drunk. She means it, and her actions towards me when she's sober reflected that she meant what she said. She just didn't have the balls to say it when she was sober. I was trying really hard. I was trying really hard to, you know, do a 360. Started running, started weightlifting. I was doing high intensity interval training. I got my shit together. I was dieting. I got down to about 120 pounds in a healthy way. I wasn't starving myself. I was healthy. I was very, very strict with what I was eating. I only had one cheat day on the weekend. But then again, when you're young, your metabolism is really good. As you got older, you can't really have those cheat days as much, especially if you're trying to maintain a very small weight. Even the guy that I was with was telling me at that point in time that you're too small, I'm not attracted the way you look right now. And he would watch an excessive amount of porn, and it was just really bad. Everything around me was just such a toxic environment. And I was like, Jesus Christ, what's wrong with these people? And I was like, damn, even the person that's supposed to be my support is over here bringing me down with his own insecurities. And I'm like, you know, if you're feeling insecure, you could start working out shit too, eat better, you know, lift weights if you want to bulk some muscle up or something, you know? A lot of red flags. I should have left then. Shit, being homeless at that point would have been better, but I stayed because this guy insisted that he loved me. So, oh my God. With all those things going on, and I didn't really feel like I was getting ahead as much as I should be. I felt like I should have been progressing a lot more. I was applying for jobs. I started applying for jobs as I was looking to get my GED. A lot of them wanted my parents to sign that I could actually work part-time because technically I was supposed to be in school. And my mom doesn't like signing anything. She hates signing shit. She doesn't like putting her name on anything to do with her social security, nothing. She thinks her whole identity is gonna be stolen from her, which it could be, but honestly, there's nothing to steal. My mom didn't have a job at this time. I'm like, what are they gonna do? They have no account, no nothing. If the only time they want to steal your identity is if you got shit. I'm like, fuck. My dad, he was always, I don't know, off doing whatever, going in and out of jail because drinking and driving and whatever the fuck else he got himself into. He was a pretty secretive sort of guy. So the reason for me leaving in the first place from my parents was because my dad was highly unstable. Mom was unstable, but she didn't drink. She didn't do any drugs or anything like that. She was like in her right state of mind. She just had very bad anger problems due to her life experiences and the person that she was with. My dad, alcoholic, very unstable. He would bring people home that were strangers and they try to do weird shit to my mom, or, you know, they look at you kind of weird and you feel uncomfortable. He would bring prostitutes home in the middle of the night and you'd wake up and your shit's stolen. There's a lot of incidences like that. So that environment, unstable. So I decided to distance myself from that. I was like, if in any environment that I'm gonna be in, I wanna be in control of it. I'm tired of coming home to not knowing what's gonna happen, especially on the weekends. And going to school with that happening, and you can't get anything done with those sorts of things happening. Because when he gets break off from work, that party's happening all over again till the wee hours in the morning. You're not gonna get any homework done, you're not getting anything done. It sucked. And I didn't have a whole lot of friends, so there was nowhere for me to hang out. Library's not gonna let you stay there all night and day and then leave when you think it's safe. As I was saying, a lot of this shit has to do with the mentality, like the emotional state. So that's why I try to keep picking up from certain areas of my life to like put it together. There was a lot of shit. There was a lot of factors into why I ended up, having an eating disorder. Scary part's coming up soon though, because I'm about to stop rambling so much and just get into it. But I feel like I've already said that a handful of times. Unstable living environments. One unstable living environment to the next. Woohoo! So I had a lot of mental beatdown, and the person I was with at the time didn't care as much as I would have hoped. I mean, like I said, that should have been a red flag from the get-go that that was not a good decision. You shouldn't be with a partner who is jealous of you, feels like they constantly have to compete against you to be better than you. They should be happy that you're doing good, and they should support you and be like, oh my god, you look amazing. How did you do this? Can you show me how to do such and such if they want to change too? They shouldn't have to, you know, do shit passive aggressively to lash out to you to make you feel bad. Obviously, his mom hating my guts. His dad put up with me. I don't really think he cared too much about my presence either towards the end. It just been because his wife was struggling with the fact that, you know, her son was with me in the first place. And it could have just rubbed off on him the wrong way. I'm not a very verbal sort of person. I don't really care to talk that much when I'm in person unless I have a little bit of this in me. He also had a sister. His sister was way more supportive than he was at the time. But as I got older and things changed with her, she became kind of close to how the mom was, just didn't really say it to my face. So it sucked because I liked her a lot better when I was younger, when she was younger. She was a good person then. We'll change. So that broke me down a lot. And I figured I would just focus on the things that I am good at and what I can control and try to block those other things out. His mom was still complaining that I was eating all their food. No, I was not. I was on food assistance. I wasn't working, but I was trying hard to get a job. And I was also working towards getting that GED. So at the time, I told him I was homeless. I mean, I didn't have a solid place. I didn't have a fucking address to send shit to. So yeah, I was homeless. So I got food assistance. That's what I did. So I bought my own fucking food, and she still accuses me of eating their food. And a lot of the times, if I tried to store my food in the fridge, she would throw my food away. So I would have to end up eating their food, and then she could get on my back and attack me for touching their food or eating their food, which wasn't true. That's the whole point of me being on food assistance. And then she said, I don't deserve to be on food assistance. You're technically spending my money and you're doing nothing. So, man, this bitch was crazy. Shit. Any little thing that she could find to like pick you apart, she would say it in like the most conniving, passive aggressive, sadistic way possible. Never said anything. I was always quiet. I was like, yeah, go ahead, get it out. Till that one day you try and hit me, you're gone. I'm going to fucking 0 to prison real quick. So try me. Words are pretty easy to take. If you try to actually come at me and physically try to harm me, it's all over. It's all fucking over. My god, I just let the cat out, now she wants back in. It's fucking killing me. That's how that went for a hot minute. Where they're saying I eat too fucking much, even though it was clearly not the truth because I was 120 pounds. I'm 5'4". It's a pretty healthy weight to be at for a 5'4" female. When I first started that weight loss journey, I was like 150 pounds. So I guess it was pretty close to what I am now, but at that time I didn't have like barely any muscle mass. I never worked out until 16. So that's when I started. So I was like slowly creating this muscle mass. Definitely didn't fit into size 6 jeans when I was 150 pounds back then. So there's that. So I still maintained this amount of muscle mass and leaned out the way I wanted to lean out for the most part. I don't know, I was small. I was like a size 2. I was a size 2, 120 pounds. Yeah, I'm eating everything. Cool, sure, whatever you say. And it came down to the point that I started eating less and less. I started running farther. My workouts got longer and I ate less food. And I put up with the nag, you're useless talk and all that shit. And then my boyfriend at the time, he just kept saying he didn't like the way I looked, yada, yada, yada. So we didn't have a whole lot of sex back then, which I don't really care. I didn't care at that time at all. I was like, you know what? If you're gonna be just as negative, then I don't want you touching me or anything anyway, so fuck off. So we were pretty distant. We didn't talk a whole lot. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't have any fucking friends, really. So I was just stuck inside my dark little mind. And that's basically where I resided. I didn't do anything witchy-wise back then, so I didn't have any outlet like that. I used to draw and watch movies, read, things like that, ordinary shit. So eventually I ended up getting to the point of where the certain amount of calories that I was eating wasn't helping me lose weight anymore. I think I got down to roughly 115 pounds before, like 115 pounds before I realized that I was gonna have to cut what I was eating, like drastically. So I went from eating around 1600, 1800 to 1000, and then that 1000 got too much because I plateaued around 110 pounds. And the smaller I got, I feel like the crazier his mom got, because she used to have eating disorder problems when she was younger, supposedly. So I was the smallest one there when I first moved there. His mother was the smallest one there, and I feel like that like raised some insecurities out of her, like real bad. And eventually I was eating 500 calories a day, but I ate mostly vegetables, and I was vegan at the time. I turned vegan, and then I had a birthday. I was 18. A birthday that no one really cared about. At 18, by the time I was 18, I was 98 pounds, and it was cold all the fucking time. Yeah, it was good times. You could see like most of the bones in your chest and all that jazz, the spine. Still didn't have thighs that didn't touch, so don't think because you're gonna get to 98 pounds that little touch right underneath the crotch area isn't gonna, it still does. Some of us just don't have the wide hourglass shape. That's the whole why girls don't have the thighs that touch in the middle. Mine's is a little more narrow, like the bone structure goes kind of up like that and then just narrows down. So I'm never gonna have that. It doesn't matter how small I am. And I don't feel like killing myself over it. Doggo's dreaming. All right. So at that time, I got an internship at the YMCA, and I was trying really hard to be a fitness instructor at this time. So I got an opportunity through this program that I was going through to get my GED to have this internship, and it was a paid internship. It was part-time, paid, minimum wage. So I did that. It was really hard for me to keep up with that. I was so tired that I had to stop working out as much, so I started doing it every other day. And if I had a chance to just walk around, to just like move, because even though you're eating and your body is trying to store everything that you eat in your body, because it's afraid that you're not going to eat anytime soon. So your body holds on to that, and you won't lose weight. You'll lose it even slower, or if any at all, because your body is like utilizing everything it can. There's like nothing for it to pull from anymore. Your fat storages are basically gone. I was shutting down. I wasn't feeling good. My hair was falling out. Cold all the fucking time. I wore tons of fucking layers trying to just be warm. It was horrible. I felt so fucking bad. And then later on, I ended up binging, but I was never a person to purge. So if I binged, I would abuse the shit out of myself even more by starving the next few days to make up for the shit that I binged on. Which, of course, starving yourself even more is going to trigger a chain reaction of binge eating more food. So it got like that. I stayed at 98 pounds for a while, though. I don't know how the fuck I did it. Last few weeks before I was going to turn 19, I believe. Was it 19 or 20? I can't really remember. Because I remember around 21, I was trying hard to maintain a healthy weight. So I'm going to say around 20, because this lasted for a good few years. I maintained a really low, fucked up weight for a while. I was going on 20. This was getting close to the time where we finally moved out. This is the actual scary part. I was having weird experiences. Like, I thought it was just me feeling cold because my body was shutting down. I knew what was happening. I didn't have a period for months, almost a year, because I was starving myself so bad. So my body was like She's not having babies. This can't happen or else she'll die. So shut it down. That's literally why that happens. You're not fertile. Your body is working so hard to keep you alive that it's letting go of other things to keep its core organs functioning. I stopped having a period. My mood swings were very sporadic. I'd go from just like weird neutral to angry. That's all I felt. Weird fucking neutral, body's like hurting, cold, and then angry, just fucking angry for no reason because your brain's so irrational because it's starving that's all it thinks about is food, and then if something triggers you, you're angry. You're never really happy, so it's definitely not worth it. I was feeling so bad towards the last few weeks. I believe this was in the winter time too, so it was like mid-December-ish, around that area. I was about to have another birthday, go figure. Another birthday no one cared about. And I was feeling really bad. And I was laying in bed. The room was really cold. I felt like weird cold patches like everywhere. And I thought it was me, like I said earlier, because I'm just cold. Can't get warm. And my breathing was like super shallow, and I was like, you know what? If I just die tonight in my sleep, that would be like the best thing that could ever happen to me right now. Because eventually you get to the point of where you're fed up with having to be on a strict diet, strict exercise routine, just to feel like you have some sort of control over your life. The body dysmorphia is unreal. No matter how small you get, you feel like you're too big. At the end, it's just too fucking much, and you want it all to just be over. I was at that point of, I'm better off dead, so please just let me die. That didn't happen, because obviously I'm here. So I'm sorry to disappoint some of y'all who hate my guts, but I'm still here. It was cold. Like, the window wasn't open, and the heater was actually going, but there was still weird cold patches. And my ex-husband, who was sleeping next to the window, I was on the other side of the bed closer to the door because I would drink water like crazy just to like try and flush things out faster. So he was rolled over towards the window, and he seemed like he was kind of cold because he was like balled up under all these blankets. The heater was on, so I'm like, why is he so cold if the heater's on? And there's like weird cold patches all over the place. Ended up rolling over towards the side where he was facing, so my back was turned towards the bedroom door. And I had a bunch of blankets balled up like towards my neck, and I was like sleeping this way. So my back area was exposed. And then I felt like this cold wind like up against the back of my neck. And I heard like this raspy, rumbly like breathing hard on the back of my neck. Like someone's just, mouth breathing on the back of you, like all fucking weird. I was facing my ex at the time, so I was like, who the fuck is in our room? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure his mom isn't that crazy. At least I hope not. I mean, it's questionable. But it was not his mom. It was something more otherworldly and ominous. So I guess me praying that I would just die that night almost came true. So yeah, be careful what you wish for. And I ended up like slowly like turning my head to the point of where I was kind of like staring at the ceiling, and I still felt this breathing going on at that time. And then it just stopped. And then I felt real cold on one side right here. Just like the densest, coldest of the cold you could feel in that one area. So I ended up just rolling over, looking back, and I could feel like some weird, ominous sort of like energy just radiating from the corner that was next to my side of the bed. And it looked like a big shadow was there. I couldn't really make it out, but I know there was something there that wasn't there before, and it was like waiting and watching for like an opportune moment to like snatch this soul, pretty much. That's what it felt like. Something was there and just ready to collect. So I look all the way up. This figure's huge. This figure goes all the way up to the ceiling, and its back curves in like this. That's how big it was. It was literally 8-10 feet tall, just hovering over me. and the only thing I could see was like a red sheen of two big eyes at the top that were curved in, wherever that face was. And I was like, oh boy. I'm like, this is it. We're dying tonight. I laid flat on my back and stopped looking at this creature that was watching me. I still don't know exactly what kind of creature it was, but obviously I lived to tell the tale. And I just laid there and I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm not even scared. Go ahead. You can collect me. I mean, I don't want to be here anymore anyways. There's no reason for me to be here. I didn't care. Like, all my fucks were gone. I had no fear, no nothing. Like, I was at that point. So I closed my eyes. I ended up falling asleep. And then I woke up the next day. And I was like, I'm still fucking here. I don't know what that creature was. I remember Googling some things, thinking it was some sort of entity, some sort of demon of some sort. But I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I realized what I was doing is not attainable. It's not sustainable. And the only person who's gonna really care about me in the long run is going to be me. So funny how that turned off when I finally get to the point of the only person who's really gonna care about you is you. That's what it came down to, guys. So there's my horror story within a horror story. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was kind of depressing, but it's true. That was my life. That's an experience that I went through for a long time. And no, I'm never fully recovered from eating disorder. I don't really think anybody ever is, but you can try your hardest to break the toxic habits that you constantly think about and constantly repeat physically. Be aware of your own actions. It's hard to do sometimes, especially with other things getting in the way of your thoughts and emotions, life. Eventually, we moved out. Eventually, I got a divorce and found someone who makes me very happy. And I wish I found him first so I didn't have to go through all that shit. But, all of our experiences are present for some sort of reason. Something to be learned and to grow from. So, learn and grow. That's what we're doing. Human experience. All right, guys. Until next time, I will see all you lovely little brujitas later.